Hi there, I'm Lance, and come spend another day with me as a nursing student in Ateneo de Davao University. So we are now in our week 3 of nursing, and basically this video had a lot of clips, but I had to cut them all apart so that it would be a much more shorter video. But I kept the only important parts, so yeah, it's basically just a chill day with lots of discovery and or not chill day, but more of chill week.
Oftentimes mali-mali. Do not rely on that. Okay, then next we, for examination purposes, I just need
As you can see, we were having a discussion in regards to different terminologies and anatomical position, and after that, me and my friends were just hanging out to um, pass the time. They were pointing at a billboard that said superior, which was a part of the different terminologies in the previous discussion, and then we were just hanging out outside. I was glad that I was able to make a couple of friends because I really did not know what I would do if, for the free time that we had. And these people that are sitting beside me are also my friends. We were having a roll call, and also we had our first activity in the subject, which was anatomy and physiology laboratory. Now here's the exciting part. It was our first activity in the subject and we already had to use the microscope. It's my first time ever using one, and I believe that it was also everyone else's first time. So it was really fun. I mean, it only needed like one person each group. There were 4 groups, but I don't know why the professor needed so much of us. Here they are, a bunch of cuties. And here is myself holding a microscope. I was very nervous because I didn't want to, you know, cause any accidents, and I was really taking my time on going down those stairs because it was hard to keep my balance. We had a fun little chat with our professor, which was a doctor, and then we had to move on with the actual activity. Now I really had to lock in during this because the microscope had a lot of parts which I really had to study, and also because we were going to look at an actual specimen, so we had to be even more careful with what we were doing. Now we had to answer the labeling portion of the activity while also like looking at the actual microscope before we proceeded, and here I am trying to see if it works. Actually, I didn't see anything there, which you can see my classmate laughing, but I didn't see anything. And after a few adjustments, I could finally see the specimen, which was a letter E. After that little trial with the E specimen, we had to move on to another specimen, which was little bits of threads of different colors to really see what it looks like under the microscope. We had 2 takes for this. At first, we chose green, gray, and red, but it didn't work out as much because we needed to put this threads together, but we accidentally had the other threads on loose, so we had to take another one. Now here was the second take, which was a much more better output. We chose green, red, and pink this time. You could really see the details as you zoom, quote unquote, zoom the specimen much further, and the more you do, it starts to get a little more blurry. Don't mind my posture during this part because I have terrible eyesight, but we had to answer another activity, and my groupmate already had answers, which I was just copying from him. And before you say anything, no, I am not cheating. Even though we had to answer individually, we also had to help each other as a group, and as much as possible, as a group, we had to have similar answers because at the end, we were going to present this to our teacher. Also, it was starting to get a little bit cold in the lab, so I had to wear my jacket. And as class ended, we had to return the microscope, and once again, we had to go through that really careful and shaky path because, once again, the microscope was heavy and I didn't want to accidentally do anything, so I had to be very slow. It was already nighttime, like very late, because we had to extend a couple of minutes so that everyone got their answers, everyone was able to pass and submit their papers before all of us just went home. It was already very late, so yeah, this was the last video as well for the day. And just so you know, those guys behind me at the elevator, they were laughing at me after I took this video. So just to let you know, whoever those guys are, you. Later on during that night, did I go to sleep? Absolutely not, because the next day I had no class, so I decided to write my notes. And did I finish it? No, because it was so much for just one chapter. And as you can already tell, my way of studying is I have to write notes so that both my mind and my hands can remember everything. It's some sort of muscle memory, while also a mix of photographic memory as well. But yeah, my way of keeping myself motivated is I have to use so many colors of highlighter just to put my creativity into use, like making scrapbooks, so that I'm more motivated to study. But enough of that depressing studying, even though I had to study here as well. We had our first time here in the face-to-face TFN class, which was Theoretical Foundations of Nursing. It was our first time meeting our professor face-to-face because uh, they weren't around last time. I was the first to arrive to class and it was getting cold, so I had to wear my jacket. And look at these cuties behind me, my dear classmates. And my table is a mess because I wanted to make sure I caught on everything. I was smiling the entire time because our teacher was quite witty. He was very funny. Was I paying attention? Probably not. I just wanted to look good in the video. But yeah, I had to get out of class for a bit because I completely forgot to print out my activity for lab class, so I had to really be quick with it. And by the time I got back, we were having a group activity, which was a vlog activity. What the hell? And then we had to move on to our next class, which we had to move very quickly because our TFN class ended at 3. Our next class started at 3 as well, so it was a very hectic schedule. Starts at 3, but it's scheduled. And then we had our lecture class once again, and before that video, we actually had an unexpected quiz. And
I'm done. Cut the show. I'm done. Take me off.
if you could see my face right there, I am not in the best of moods because I feel like I most likely failed the test because I didn't get to study as much. But yeah, I wanted to make myself feel better by looking at myself in the mirror. And of course, having my early dinner one as well before heading to the lab class. Just like before, we had to use a microscope, but yeah, I had a little free time with my friends. I wanted to move on with the quiz because it was already done. We had to move on, and I feel like the dinner that I had prepared myself, which was pancit canton and egg, made me feel a lot better actually, even though it was cold. This is us having to pick up the microscope once again in such a dark hallway because it was already very late, 6 p.m. So, very heavy microscope, by the way. I mean, very heavy. This time it was just the 4 of us to carry the microscope because we realized it wasn't that much of a hassle. And also, we had to examine many more specimen, I mean. And yeah, it was very time consuming, but it was also very enjoyable. We had to study really seriously as well because during our lecture, this part wasn't discussed. So it was like an advance, and here is a compilation of our specimen. Very amazing. I forgot what year. I had a list actually, but I forgot which one was which because I was going by order. And we decided to just come up to our professor literally very close because we couldn't understand anything, and the PPT as well was not working well. And here is myself once again trying to make myself look good by knowing how to properly, quote unquote, um, organize a microscope before returning it. To be honest, I was just reading by the paper, okay? And we had to return to the treacherous and dark hallway. My friends were quite scared, so I had to act brave as well, but I was really scared as well because, as you may know, I have terrible eyesight, so one small mistake will cost me my money. And this was the last clip once again for the day, and yeah, we exited, we used the elevator, we went home, and then bye.